Hey, this is Steve Halleck at TikToking.com, and today I have another one of my favorite watches for you. Before I start, definitely hit subscribe on the YouTube channel and check out www.tiktoking.com, where I have a whole selection of really cool watches, tons of video reviews, a blog where I talk about all sorts of stuff, and I think you'll like it. So hit me in the comments there, here. Let's talk about cool watches. But today is one of my favorites, and I think one of the most underrated and undervalued watches out there. This is the Vacheron Constantin Malte Perpetual Calendar Chronograph. And these watches, I'm fairly certain, are discontinued now. And they were sort of a direct competitor to the Patek 5970. This particular one is in platinum. And if you think of the 5970P, which is now a $180,000 watch, or something around there. This is about a third of the price, and I think a cooler watch. So let me show you some of the really cool parts about it. The first thing you notice, the case is very sort of Art Deco inspired. You have these lugs that are very Deco. They kind of come out at an angle, and they're pretty thick and angled and multi-stepped. Let me give it a wipe. I've got my grubby fingerprints all over it now. And the pushers as well are these rectangular pushers. So that's, of course, part of what makes this not as universally appealing as the Patek, which is a very classic design. This one has a definite design point of view and is referencing certain specific design elements, so it's a little bit more of a love it or hate it kind of watch, but I tend to like watches that have a point of view, so I would give my vote here. But let's keep looking. We may as well go straight to the coolest part of the watch, and that is the moon phase. So this uses an engraved moon phase, and I've advanced it to a full moon, but you can see that the moon is fully engraved on this disc, and it's like a smiling, like Smashing Pumpkins and type of moon. And you've got these stars also that are engraved on the moon phase disc. As it turns around, it'll go from stars to moon and back. And it's just, I think, the coolest moon phase on any watch that's out there. I guess the Debatoon spherical ball that turns around is pretty cool. But this thing is killer. And the indices are also very Deco, these triangles that are sort of faceted. The hands also. You've got windows for the date and a window for the leap year indicator. So this shows that it's the second year in the 4-year cycle. And chronograph. And obviously a perpetual calendar. So there's your date around the moon phase there, and your day of the week, month, and of course your leap year. Running seconds, which is nice to have. And that's about it for that. Now this uses the same movement also as the 5970 and the 3970 Pateks. It's a Lemania base. Each company finishes them differently, so you can judge for yourself what you think between all of them. But let me show it to you. Solid back. Actually, it's not. It's a Hunter case, which is so cool. Very few watches come with Hunter cases now, and it's sort of a really just an awesome nod to the past. So what a Hunter case is a solid back that is hinged, and it opens up to reveal the movement. So if you wanted to engrave it or do something cool, that would be a cool place to do it. But otherwise, let's just pop it open here. And there you have a pretty stunning chronograph movement. Now, I have a video review of a Patek 3970 that you can go check out, which is the same movement as I just mentioned, and you can kind of compare and contrast the two. I think Patek does some more modifications on the Lemania base than Vacheron does, but it's certainly an incredibly well-finished, beautiful, and very robust chronograph movement. I don't know how anybody could knock it in any way. And together with this Hunter case and the really cool moon phase, and then if you take into account the price, I think it just makes this a really, really compelling watch. But let me show it to you on the wrist, and you can judge there too. I happen to really love the size and proportion of this watch. The Hunter back makes it just a little bit thicker, which I think is kind of cool. It's very heavy also. Also that back is a whole other piece of platinum that's there that wouldn't necessarily be there. But you can see it's pretty perfect on the wrist. Definitely wears quite a bit bigger than that 36 millimeter 3970, and a little bit smaller than the 5970. But I think on most wrists this is going to be a pretty perfect size, and it looks interesting. It's not in your face. It's still very classic, but it's got an interesting look on the wrist. You could imagine this grabbing an eye, definitely, and eliciting some questions. It certainly looks like a very nice watch. And the thickness that I alluded to there is not extreme by any means, but it gives it some heft and some substance on the wrist. So there you have the Vacheron Constantin Malte Perpetual Calendar Chronograph. Super underrated, super undervalued watch. You can check it out. It's for sale right now at ticktalking.com, as well as a ton of other really cool watches. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks.